CO, I hope everyone's doing good today. I hope everyone's had a good week, a good weekend. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about was my week. I had a stressful week this week, and it was due to work. They sent me, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and they sent me to Chicago, Illinois to take a class for work for electric truck training, electric forklift training, and I was pretty nervous about it. I was nervous and anxious, and I was anxious about the flight. I was anxious about catching my flight. I was anxious about getting there on time. I was anxious about being alone in a city that big with that many problems with crime and everything else. Atlanta's bad, but Chicago, I heard, is much, much worse. So I was pretty nervous about a lot of those things. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today was, sometimes we worry about things when there really is no need to. Our minds just tend to take over and make our situation way worse than it really is. And it just builds up and builds up inside your head, and you think the worst thoughts that you possibly can about a situation that really isn't that bad. And it's just all the hypotheticals and all the what ifs. They can really get to you. They can really get to you and make you stress out pretty good. And it can be quite scary at times. And when our thoughts try and make the worst things that could happen in our heads and make it sort of a reality in our heads, that's when things can go bad with you. Your body reacts to those. It reacts to those thoughts, those negative thoughts. You become anxious. You become jittery. You become, you sweat. It's that whole fight or flight trigger. And when you're on an airplane and you're, however high airplanes fly, 30,000 feet, whatever, there's no going back. I mean, if something happens, it happens. And and I have a fear of flying. It's not as bad as it used to be, but I have a pretty good fear of flying. So taking off for me and landing are the two worst parts. Taking off because I know it's the journey of a long flight, and I have no idea what's going to happen during that flight. So that kind of gets to me mentally and physically. And being up in the air, when you start hitting some rough air, that gets to me. But all the negative thoughts that I was thinking while I was flying, I was always trying to counteract those thoughts with good thoughts, or distract myself with a movie or something along those lines. And that seems to help out quite a bit. When those thoughts try and make our worst fears a reality to our heart and mind, our body reacts to it. And that's true. You get a fight or flight sort of feeling. You get anxious, you get nervous, you get jittery. I get jittery, I start to sweat, start to freak out a little bit. And those negative thoughts are not good, because they can really do harm to you. Sometimes people can get so stressed out they can have a heart attack if they have heart issues, things of that nature. So it's really good to keep those things in check. It's really good to keep those negative thoughts in check. Our minds control our bodies, and our bodies can react to those negative thought processes. And basically it's a traumatic thing. It's a trauma to your body when you think these things, because your body doesn't know the difference if it's happening or not happening. So it thinks that it's happening. And this is why I try and counteract these negative thoughts. Personally, I try and think of how ridiculous these thoughts sound, and I try to attack them with good thoughts. And that could be, hey, I'm going to a new city that I've never been to before. I get to experience some things that I've probably never experienced before. I get to see some nature that I haven't been able to see before. And that's always a good thing. That always, I let my mind wander on exploring the natural habitat where I'm going, and that sort of gets me through because I get excited about it, and then I start thinking positively about it. So that's always a good thing, you know. It's always good to think of things such as the positive outcomes to the unknown as to the negative ones. You know, I would rather think positive thoughts than negative thoughts, but you know, it can be quite hard sometimes. And like you, you know, I'm a human, and these negative thoughts still come out, and still, sometimes they win. You know, sometimes they get the bigger hand of my positive thoughts, and hey, you know, it happens. But we just gotta, you know, keep trying. And the more we try, you know, for me personally, they don't get to me as much as they used to, and I find that more peaceful for myself, you know. But you know, like with everything, it takes practice, and eventually works pretty well, and helps anxiety and being nervous sort of go away sometimes. It gives way to those positive thoughts. But yeah, that's all I had to say today in this video, was just to think positively about situations. A lot of negative things happened to me, and I think that was because I was nervous, but I didn't dwell on those negative things that happened to me. If you guys want to hear the story, when I got to the airport, first thing, I got there early. I was like, okay, you know, I'll get there early, catch my flight, get out of here. And I get there early, check my bags, go through security. I'm sitting at the gate that was delegated to my flight, and next thing I know, it's 5 minutes till we board, and they changed gates on me. So they changed gates from Concourse D to Concourse B, which in Atlanta Airport, it's an international airport, so I had to run, get on the train, take the train to the correct concourse and find my gate. Luckily, I found it in time. But I was freaking out over that because I didn't want to miss my flight and make my boss mad and everything else. So that was the first thing. The second thing, I get off the plane, get to my rental car, and my rental car, 3 miles after I left the rental car place, the low tire light comes on. So I had to stop and fill my tire up. I was like, great. So I spent my whole trip filling up my tire every other time I got in the car because it was going to go flat. So that was the other thing. Third thing is that the first day of class, we had these little menus that we had to fill out and leave them on our desk, so when we went to first break, they would come by and pick them all up. Well, lunch rolls around, and I was the only one that didn't get a lunch. So they didn't pick up my menu. So that was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty funny, although I was hungry. But you know, hey, whatever. You just gotta kind of roll with these things and go with them, and you know, laugh at them sometimes, because in the grand scheme of things, a lot of these negative things that happen to us, or we overplay in our heads, sometimes they're not as bad as they seem. And a lot of times I find that if you just laugh at a situation, if it's not a dire situation, if it's something like the things I went through, you know, to me it's just funny. You know, it's just funny that all these things happened on the first and second day of me being there. I thought that was pretty hilarious. But there were some other things that happened there, but all in all, I had a really great time and met some great people, and it was fun. Learned some good things, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. And you know, I really missed being home. I really missed my yard that I put a lot of work into, and I want to show you guys that before we go, because I found some really interesting things about my heritage that I didn't know definitively. I thought I kind of knew, but didn't really know definitively. And I took a DNA test, sent it in. Basically, the other side, all the other parts of my family, besides my Native American side of my family, are all Northern Europeans: Scotland, Norway, Wales, and Northern England. So I thought that was kind of cool that it's all in one area, all in one grouping. It's not spread out, through South Europe or anywhere else. It's just all in that one sort of region right there in Northern Europe. So I decided to do some studying and things like that, and I found out that one of my great, I don't know how many greats it was like 7 generations before me. He actually came from England, and he came over here, got married, and he passed away here. On my other side of my family, they also came from England, and I'm still trying to find the relatives from Wales, and also still trying to find the relatives from Norway, which I'm only 1% Norwegian, so it's not like I probably would have to dig back really, really far to find those ancestors. But it's really cool to look back in your family tree and see who came from where and know where you come from, because that's important for us knowing who we are. And so I initially constructed a stone circle in my backyard, and I took and got a really nice piece of wood, and I carved a nice big rune in it. You saw it in the first part of the video, and it's really cool. I like it. I like sitting out here. It's peaceful, and now I have a really cool little place to come and sit and think and do videos and things like that. So I'll show you guys the runestone one more time, and then I'm going to say goodbye. And I hope you guys have a really good week, and I'll see you next weekend. Stay tuned for the next video, because I'm going to have a guest on, and we're going to do some talking about some things Native American. So you guys have a good one, and I'll see you on the next video. Stay safe.